Okay, everybody. So this week we're discussing character arc, and for the pilot writers, we were to read the pilot for Ugly Betty and Transparent. So my thoughts on Ugly Betty and the character arc, and again with pilots and TV series, it's supposed to be where if the character, the protagonist, changes in the script in an episode, let's say, it's supposed to be very minimal because it's the overall whole that we're looking for. As Matt mentioned in the lesson assignment for this week with Walter White, he doesn't go from in episode one from being a chemistry teacher father to a drug lord. It's gradual, and I think that's part of the gist of a series is the gradual change. So in Ugly Betty, never seen the show but read the script, and you can tell the engine of the show, what's going to drive it, and it's Betty will change. I'm certain by the end of the series to become more proud of herself. She'll have more self-esteem. She'll realize that she's just as good, if not better, than everyone else that's out there trying to put her down. It's kind of like Rocky in a sense, in the script. So that's my take on Ugly Betty. Now, Transparent, which again is another show I have not seen but really, really want to now. This is a tough one because in the pilot episode, we only see Mort very, very briefly in the scenes where the kids come over for dinner with him. And I don't think the overall intention of the pilot is to talk about the character change, so to speak, or I mean, obviously there's a drastic change at the end with Mort, but I would argue, based on what we've seen, that he's not the protagonist of the show. It's kind of an ensemble, but the three kids seem to be equal, throughout the course of the pilot at least. So that's tough. I mean, we set up the engine of this world as well, where we know what the needs of each of the children are, and of course we find out what the need of Mort is, and then the shocker at the end that he's, of course, transgender, and he's at the counseling session, which I think was handled very nicely, and I'd love to see the pilot, if not the whole series. But again, you can see the seeds being laid in here, specifically with Allie, and Mort again. But like I said, I don't know how I would hang my hat on protagonist in this series from what I've seen so far. It just seems to be that it's going to be about family and it's going to be an ongoing piece. Now, as far as character arc in Crisis goes that I'm working on, I'm kind of in the same situation where I am laying a lot of groundwork in the pilot. And I also seem to have three major characters, which would be the family of Gordon, Amy, and of course Penny, the daughter. And definitely they will change as the series progresses. I think Gordon's going to become more active and less passive. Well, I know that he will. Penny is going to kind of be in between the change of Gordon and her mother. I guess I should talk about Amy first. Amy, who is much more aggressive as it stands now, is going to find herself being taken down a few notches and finding out the importance of her family and of her spouse and of her marriage. So those two are kind of playing off each other, Gordon and Amy, with their character arcs. Then you're going to have Penny stuck in the middle, wedged in the middle, symbolic almost of a mix between the two, and her change will be almost osmosis, in a sense that she's going to change from who she is as a character, but she's going to kind of ride the pattern of both parents as they change. Right now, Penny's a baby in literally every sense of the word, sissified, and you can see little sparks of her getting some badassness of her mother in there in the pilot episode. But that's and she's also going to become passive in a different way with when she starts to take on some of Gordon's traits. But right now she's just like a big lump of spineless jelly, and that's going to change. So those are my thoughts on character arc.